Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Speak Your Truth podcast. This week, I'm so excited. I have my former coworker, Melissa Ottstadt. Melissa and I have known each other. It's probably been about 12 years since we first met, working together at Ralph Lauren on the Ralph Lauren home team as a whole. And I am so excited to have her here today. Melissa is a self-taught candle maker who turned her pandemic hobby into an earth-friendly brand and business. And you guys, before we even get started, I'm just going to tell you, I have the tobacco, saffron and tobacco right here. This one is my favorite, and I think it's a fan favorite. I actually, did this to somebody yesterday. I was like, this thing's almost gone. I'm getting ready to order the big one. Melissa, welcome.
Thanks, Lori. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so excited you're here today. I just was, it was so funny how I found your candle company. I think it was on LinkedIn. And I was like, wait a minute, what are you doing? Is this you?
Surprise, I changed.
It's so exciting.
Yeah, thanks.
So, as a pandemic hobby, please tell us how this all got started.
Yeah, so I was spending a ton of time in my apartment, as many people were also staying home. For a long time, I was watching, Netflix. I was taking courses because I felt like if I can't go out, if I can't like enjoy the things that I used to do, let me try to at least enrich myself in some way and kind of like in whatever way take advantage of this time that I have. So I ordered a candle making kit because I wanted to do something a little bit more creative instead of staring at screens all the time.
Oh,
And I
yes.
just fell in love with it. Like I got like they sent like just a pound of wax, some fragrance oil, the wick, and everything. And I thought, oh, this is easy. Little did I know. But then it also could make my home feel more cozy as well. So I just immediately started diving into research mode. I wanted to know about all the different kinds of waxes, of vessels, just the process in general. So I watched a lot of YouTube videos. I joined a lot of Facebook groups. And really, it just kind of escalated just because I was so passionate about learning the process, and I think probably maybe about a year after I started, because of kind of like June of 2021, I launched my brand. And I was so nervous. But I had told a lot of friends and family about it ahead of time.
Right.
So they were aware. I had my 50-person email list. And everyone's just been so supportive of it since then. So I'm growing slowly but surely. But it's been a big change for me just coming out of something so simple as trying something new during the pandemic.
Right. I think everybody kind of, you know, got back into the things or found new hobbies. So I was laughing when you said that. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I became a registered yoga teacher, a Reiki practitioner. I did all of these educational things that I'd always been curious about during all that downtime, because
Yeah.
I was lucky that I had a small studio here where there were only four of us, and it was her first time having a class. She'd just become a certified studio that could
Hmm.
teach yoga teachers. And so there were like four of us, and we were all very comfortable with each other. We wore our masks. We sat, we had a big space, so we all sat in different corners to learn. And it was just that was the only thing that I could really think of that I could get out of the house and do
Yeah.
and not be, feel like whatever. But I think it's fun that, people found their creativity during that time.
Yeah. It was a huge mind shift for me because I started thinking like, wait, like things can change for the worse very, very quickly. Like, why don't I start doing things that I've been thinking about doing? Like, just more fun things, like is different from the day to day and just kind of the career path that I was on.
Absolutely. And I think that, when you work in a corporate environment, you get so wrapped up in that you forget that you actually have these desires and these things that you want to do because you're so tired when you get home.
Yes. You're
Think about it.
exhausted.
Your brain is exhausted from all the people, all the computer, all the stuff. We've just gone back into the office 2 days a week, and those 2 days during the week, or my heart, I go to bed early, I sleep really
Mhm.
hard because it's exhausting.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
didn't realize how exhausting that was until I had something to compare it with.
exactly. And you wonder, how did I do that 5 days a week for so
Right.
long?
Right. I mean, it's so awesome. So now I believe that you are starting to you've been selling, your candles to the public, and now you're starting to dip your toe into the wholesale environment.
Yeah,
How is
that's
that going?
it's been an interesting journey. At one point, I just started doing door-to-door sales. I literally would just take a bag with some samples, walk into a retail store that I thought was cute, and just present my candles and be like, "Hey, this is my story. This is what I have for you. I think your store is wonderful. Your customers, I think, would really like these. What are your thoughts?" And that worked out pretty well for me. Actually, when I was first starting out, I think I need to get a little bit more into that, just kind of like cold calling, basically.
Right.
Um, at this point, I'm getting ready to do my second trade show. So I did one in New York City. When was it? In February. And now I'm getting ready to do the August show. And that was a fun experience, nerve wracking, but fun. So you have your own space, but it's a blank canvas. You need to decorate it, you brand appropriately, you need to come with your line sheets, just marketing materials, samples,
Right.
things like that. But then buyers come to you. Like you have a captive audience because they are looking for things to fill their shelves. So
Right.
that's been a really great experience. And I hope to do more shows, over the course of the next year as well.
Oh yeah. So I had a company pre Ralph Lauren. Um and I would go to Atlanta market, and it was always so much fun. I mean, that was probably going to market is probably the highlight of the whole, adventure,
Yeah.
because you get to meet so many people, and and these people become passionate about your products. Like,
Hmm.
I still have some people who had become my friends that still buy my product. I make it. It's a handmade product, but I don't just sell it to anybody. I'm like, they have to call me and I'll be like, well, let me see what I have. And then I'm like, okay, tell me what you want. And I was like, but I can't be on a timeline because I
Right.
have all this other stuff going on. I was like, but
No,
I'll
if
do
in the
it for you.
moment.
But it's just so funny because that was like, I don't know, 25 years ago. It
Uh,
seems like a lifetime ago. And for some people that is a lifetime ago.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
um I love, the market atmosphere, but I think that you will agree that your corporate background helped you know that you needed those line sheets, and you needed all that. You know that you needed all that to go to market.
Hmm. Yeah.
From that standpoint.
Yeah, definitely. It's if I didn't have that solid retail background, I would have been just further behind starting
Yeah.
out, definitely. Retail has been my life for like almost 20 years at this point. So it's what I know. But that being said, there's still a tremendous amount to learn when you branch out on your own. Like all the experience I have had before, nothing could fully prepare me for being an entrepreneur. And it's a slow road. It's a like frustrating road at times. And I feel like I'm making the rules up as I go a little bit. But at the same time, the community of people that I have met along the way is like invaluable. Like you were mentioning, like people from the markets, like I have
Mhm.
walked away from every single market with a lot of new friends, a lot of new contacts. And at the same time, everyone's been really open and supportive as well. And we will reach out to each other like, I have a question on this, I have a question on that. Who are you using? Can you share XYZ? And everyone has been so just just open and welcoming, and it's been a really nice surprise. So I don't feel like I'm doing everything on my own. I know that I have a group of people, scattered throughout the world and the country, but still a group of people you know who, if I ask the right questions, like will definitely be open and willing to help. So that's been great.
And that is, to have that support is so amazing, to help you grow. And it's good to not grow so fast.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, because I have a friend who their family had started a company that was very similar. Ralph actually helped them get their business started, but they grew so fast they couldn't keep it. So
Mm,
they couldn't keep up that demand, I guess.
yep.
And so I think it's good to grow at your own pace and not be, you know, overwhelmed, because I know sometimes I would come back from market and feel like, oh my God, I got to do I've got to make all this, because a lot of my stuff, even though I had a specific line, it was very customed as to what they could pick. So I didn't keep a lot of stock.
I
I just
see.
came home and worked
Yep.
like a crazy
Yeah.
person until, and said, okay, this will all ship to you for the holidays by the end of September. You have to keep yourself on a deadline to do all of that, especially when you're doing it at home or,
Absolutely.
in your studio, wherever that may be.
Hmm.
Um, it's a very interesting challenge that I don't think a lot of people think about when they start looking at doing wholesale. I was going to ask you this, and I was going to ask you this either on the podcast or not on the podcast, but because I saw something yesterday, a friend of mine has a stationery line and she sells on Fair,
Mm,
Faire, and I didn't know if you knew about that, but that's a way to. I mean, I think for candles it's a little bit harder because people, I'm telling you,
they like to
she's
smell
got
it.
these cute little ones that are adorable. Now I can't even get it open, but I could just sit here and smell this, and this makes me feel so, like, when I smell it, it just makes me feel relaxed.
I'm so happy to hear that.
I
That's
mean,
what
I just
that's
love
what I
it.
was going for.
I just love it. I mean, like, and they're all great. I gave one of them away as a birthday gift to my friend Christy, but I kind of laughed because I was like, it was the only one that I hadn't burned yet. And so I was like, because I had bought this whole set of them and I was going to give them as gifts. And, um, as I started experimenting with them, I was like, oh, this one smells good. I think I'm going to light it and, get my office smelling wonderful. And then finally I was like, oh, I've got to go to dinner tonight. And I forgot to go get a gift where I've got the perfect idea. And then I was like, I kept opening them going, nope, burn that one. Nope, burn that one. And finally found one. Not to say that I did not plan ahead, but I didn't plan ahead for that birthday. And so I was like, this is the perfect gift.
Hmm. I'm so
Um,
happy you did that. And like I've been thinking about doing like, some type of sampler set, like just kind of like you did. You ordered every scent in the smaller size
I
just to
did.
try it because I
They're
get that it's
all.
a big commitment. Like you're scared to try something new, especially in a 13 ounce, which is my normal size.
This is the lavender and sage, and this is the one that I like to keep in the bathroom. Like, I don't keep it in the bathroom because I keep it in my office. But this smell, I'm just like, oh my God, I want to go take a bath,
It's very relaxing.
go to
Yeah.
bed. They're all so great. And I just love them. Of course, now I'm sitting here going, I can't get the tops back on, but that is user error, people. That is user error. It is not anything to do with the container.
You gotta
It is
fix
all me. I have one other question for you because, and I don't, we had this conversation before we started, and I'm not good at pronunciation, but there is a word. It's, uh, I don't want to say Scandinavian, but it's the word for comfort, for home comfort. What is that
Yep.
word?
Huga.
Huga. See, I was like, is it hoga, hoogie,
It
hygge?
sounds like Heidi.
Yes. And that's all I could think about. But I was like, I know it's like it's huga. I was like, is it hoagie? But
Yes.
talk a little bit about that,
Yeah.
and and talk a little bit about how that played into your brand.
Yeah. So the tradition of hygge is comes from the Scandinavian countries, and it's all about surrounding yourself with things that make you feel happy and comfortable and cozy. And
Yeah.
candles are a huge part of that. And for me, part of my journey in starting my business and making candles, etc., was trying to make my own space feel more welcoming and cozy because I was spending so much time there during the pandemic as well. So when I was thinking about, my branding, what I wanted to call my brand, the Lease Collective came to mind because lease means light in Danish. So loosely translated, the brand means the light collection. And so it kind of like pays homage to the Danish tradition of hygge, and tells a little bit about my story as well.
I love that. I think
Yeah.
that's so awesome. So Otstad is Danish,
German, actually.
German. Okay. But are you do you have Danish descent? Is that what you're
I'm
saying? Or no?
not. I
No?
just fell
Oh,
in love with, their home decor style and, kind of their whole aesthetic and how they, Scandinavian people decorate their homes and especially the hookah piece as well.
I think that's awesome. I thought that was interesting because when I was in high school, I was a nanny for a Danish couple that lived here.
Oh,
So
cool.
and I nannied for them throughout my entire high school career. So, all 4 years of high school, I was always with their kids, and it was, it's just very interesting. And another thing is that I'd never heard of Huga until about, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 months ago. It may have been longer than that. A
Mm.
friend of mine had introduced me to the concept of it. And I
Hmm.
was like, oh. And then when I saw it on your website, I was like, well, that's cool. I was like, all these little connections keep us connected like that, you
Yeah,
know?
it was meant to be. We were meant to reconnect and share.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Melissa, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. This has been so much fun.
Oh, thank you for having me, Lori. It's been wonderful.
Now, everybody, I'm going to have all of her information, her website, all of the stuff listed in the show notes. You can find the List Collective online, order yourself some great candles. I'm probably going to have to order myself some more sets because I feel like I need them in my gift closet because they're just super easy to wrap up and put a bow on. And Christmas is coming up,
It certainly is.
you
That's our
know.
season. Candle season
Yeah,
is definitely coming.
gotta plan ahead. Melissa, thank you so much for being with us today. And we'll see you all here next week on the Speak Your Truth podcast, I guess I should say. We'll see you soon. If I can figure out how to stop.
And like,
I was I do this every time